In this video, I'm sharing about the 3 steps that I took to manifest vacations to Hawaii, Australia, and an upcoming cruise that I am planning to take to Scandinavia this summer. And so if you're someone who feels like you can't take the vacation that you dream of because you can't afford it, then I think you'll get a lot out of this video because that's exactly how I used to feel. But first, if you're new to my channel, then welcome. My name is Adrianne. I'm a manifesting coach and intuitive guide, and on my channel, we talk about getting into the flow and manifesting with ease. So if that is something you're interested in, I invite you to click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you'll be the first to know when I publish new videos. Ever since I was a little kid, I have dreamed of traveling the world, of taking nice vacations, being able to do that. Growing up in East Tennessee, my family didn't take that many vacations. So yeah, it was something I really dreamed about. And the reason why we didn't take them was typically because my parents couldn't afford it. And so for a long time, I had that kind of a mindset still. But fortunately, I've discovered how to release that mindset around vacations and allow myself to manifest the vacations that I really desire. And so in this video, I'm excited to share with you the 3 steps that I have been using to help me do that. So the first step of my vacation manifestation process is change your money story. So this step is really foundational, especially if you're someone who is like I used to be, where I had this persistent belief that I couldn't afford to go on my dream vacations. And of course, that belief was based in reality because I didn't have the extra money in my bank account for the vacations, and kind of the usual sources of money flowing into my life didn't add up to that much extra money. And so what I mean by change your money story is what I had to do was really train myself into seeing money as not coming from those kind of predictable sources like a job or like my usual business income, the amount of money I was used to making in my business, things like that, but instead to really see money as coming from source energy, from the universe, from the divine, from whatever kind of you connect with emotionally that you could identify as being the real source of manifestations. And in considering that source to be infinitely abundant, in thinking about that source as the source of the natural world, as this abundant force that flows through the natural world that causes things like grass to grow and our bodies to heal, and kind of identifying with that source as being not just the source of kind of healing in my body or of like the sun coming up every morning, but also as this potential source of abundance for my bank account or for my ability to attract and allow whatever means would help me go on these vacations. So to really kind of change my feelings around money to be more allowing and expecting more and more that I would be supported in whatever my true heart's desires are. And some people, when they're kind of working on changing their money story, it can really help to, and I did this to some degree as well, to kind of see money, if it feels kind of maybe too big to think of money as coming from source energy, to kind of look at money, look at your relationship with money as being like your relationship with a person, and kind of think about changing that relationship to be, or changing money into the kind of person that you would like it to be in your relationship with it. A lot of people do this in kind of sort of a romantic way of kind of imagining money as being like an ideal lover, and kind of what qualities that really nurturing and dreamy and generous, wonderful lover would be. What clicked for me even more was I started to imagine money as being like this patron for me. Kind of like back in maybe like the Renaissance times or something like that. And those famous artists, they had just like a patron who would give them unlimited, or like an abundance of resources so they could just do their art and just do whatever their creative inspiration led them. So that kind of like clicked with me or resonated with me. And so I would imagine money as being like that kind of a patron for me who would say yes to whatever my true desires and true dreams were. Because really for me, travel is something that feeds my creativity and feeds my joy too. And so, yeah, just figuring out a way to think of money as more of this supply that's abundant, that's not just limited to what you're expecting to receive each month, and then also kind of starting to play with imagining money as being some kind of benevolent force in your life. However you can connect with that emotionally and envision that to be in a more abundant, generous, better feeling way than you currently do, that those aspects of changing the money story can be really foundational to help the money or whatever resources are necessary to really flow in effectively to support you in going on these dream vacations. And that definitely became what happened for me, as I'll share about in a few minutes. And then step 2 is start planning and preparing. So even before you have manifested the money or whatever means you need to go on your dream vacation, one thing that you've got to do to help the process along is go ahead and decide where you want to go. Start planning and preparing and learning about that location, deciding kind of what you want to do, where you want to go, things like that. Something that really helped in manifesting my vacations to Hawaii and Australia was I went ahead and bought some guidebooks. I bought these 2 books and started reading them and learning about these places, learning like which island I wanted to visit in Hawaii and where, like what I wanted to do when I was in Australia. And so, yeah, that is something that for many years I kind of had wanted to go to Hawaii, but it wasn't until I actually started planning for it that then the resources and the clarity and the money and stuff like that to actually go happened. Was like within a few months of buying the guidebook and actually starting to make a plan of what I was going to be doing there. And then for my trip to Scandinavia that I'm planning to take in the summer, when I was on a cruise to Alaska last summer, the cruise to Abraham that I did a vlog about, which I'll link up here in case you want to check that out. It was an awesome trip. At the end of the cruise, they were talking about future cruises with Abraham, and they mentioned the cruise to Scandinavia was going to be available for the following summer, and I knew immediately that I wanted to do it. But I also knew that the price tag for it was going to be at least double the one that we had just been on to Alaska. And so I was feeling a little intimidated about the cost of it. Even, despite the things that I know about manifesting money, it still seemed kind of like a stretch for me. So, but what I decided to do anyway was put aside those feelings and go ahead and map out and figure out exactly how much I would need to manifest for the cruise. So I went ahead and just kind of let myself plan it out and kind of imagine to get my ideal kind of cabin for the cruise with the balcony, and like to spend a few days in Amsterdam when I first got there to Europe, and then also to do a little trip to Bulgaria where Nick is from, my boyfriend, after the cruise was over. And so kind of like, mapping out what all of those expenses would be and seeing that it came to around like $8,000, which seemed kind of like a stretch, kind of like, wow, that's a significant amount of money to do this vacation. But just kind of letting myself map it out and then being able to have that plan of this is exactly what I need, and just go ahead and let that clarity be there, even though at the time when I did that, I didn't have any clear sense of where the ability to actually book this cruise and go on this cruise would come from. And then step 3 is hold the intention. So basically once you have kind of opened yourself up to the abundance of the universe, you have opened up yourself to a more abundant way of looking at money, you've decided where you want to go and kind of started to make some plans around that, the next thing that you need to do is simply hold that intention. So just kind of decide and affirm to yourself that you are going to go on this trip, and you hold the intention in kind of a light, expectant way, not in a way of like, am I going to do it? Am I not going to do it? you just kind of hold it in this way of enjoying the idea of it and just practicing the art of trust, the art of just affirming to yourself your own abundant nature, that your desires are meant to be fulfilled, that even though you can't see how it would happen yet, that it is still something that can be realized by you. And so, yeah, step 3 is simply holding the intention. And then in doing that, you're allowing the magic to begin unfolding of showing you exactly how this intention can be realized. So now to quickly share kind of how this unfolded for me in manifesting these 3 vacations for the Australia vacation. So one of the reasons why I wanted to visit Australia is because my sister lives there and I hadn't had a chance to visit her yet. Plus Australia was a place that I had always kind of dreamed about being able to go visit. And so what happened is, yeah, I had bought the guidebook. I had been affirming that I was going to go, even though I really didn't see how I could manifest the money necessarily for the plane ticket and stuff like that. But I was holding this intention, and I was talking to my sister on the phone one day, and I had told her that I wanted to go, and she had said, yeah, I'd love for you to visit, stuff like that. But she just kind of out of the blue offered to pay for my vacation, to pay for my plane ticket at least, to go to Australia. And so, yeah, that was kind of like the thing that kind of caused the domino effect of things like falling into place that allowed me to go, was this hurdle being cleared of feeling like, I don't know, how am I going to come up with the $2,500 or whatever it was for this plane ticket, because we were going to go at Christmas time to have Christmas in Australia, which was a more expensive time to go also. But yeah, that the generosity of my sister just kind of out of the blue offering to pay for it, and got to have this amazing vacation, Christmas vacation in Australia. And then with the vacation to Hawaii, like I was saying, I had wanted to go to Hawaii for a long time, bought this guidebook, kind of deciding what island that I wanted to go to. And what felt inspiring was to go to the island of Maui. And so that's where I felt drawn to go. And then also to go as part of my celebration for my 40th birthday. And so that was what I had decided. And then, yeah, just different things started happening in alignment with that. I just kind of more money started coming into my life in different ways, and I was able to book the plane tickets, and then Nick actually decided to treat me to the stay in Maui. And so yeah, the things that I needed for the trip just kind of fell in place. And one thing that's kind of cool about this manifesting story though is that I bought the plane tickets to go from Portland to Maui, and the plane tickets, we flew on Hawaiian Airlines, and like I said, it was for my 40th birthday, the vacation, kind of like a treat to myself for my 40th birthday, and we would be going during that time. And the flight to Maui on Hawaiian Airlines, it was flight 39, and so the ticket said HA for Hawaiian Airlines, and then flight 39, and then the return flight was actually flight 40, which also said HA 40 on the ticket. And so yeah, the ticket was leaving on flight 39, returning on flight 40. It was for my 40th birthday, and it kind of said haha in the ticket because of the Hawaiian Airlines. So it was like a nice little wink, little synchronicity from the universe also with that Hawaii vacation manifestation. And yeah, we had a great time in Hawaii. It was, yeah, totally magical, wonderful vacation that I also have a vlog posted about that. I'll link. Australia too, I have a vlog as well, which I'll also link in case you want to see kind of what happened on these vacations. And then for the trip that I'm planning to take to Scandinavia in the summer, like I mentioned, I had gone ahead and kind of planned out the expenses for that trip of what I thought it was going to be, and it was $8,000 total. And so I was kind of looking at that like, yeah, that's more than I've ever paid for a vacation by a lot, but I'm going to just intend that I'm going to have this. I'm going to be able to be able to reserve my cruise cabin by March, end of March, which is what it said, that you had to reserve it by. And so basically what happened is over the next few months, I just happened to manifest more and more in my business so that I had that extra money, like beyond what I needed for other expenses, other desires. This unexpected extra money was manifesting in my business. And so I was able to, before the end of the year even, pay for the rest of the cruise and book myself on that Abraham Hicks cruise in Scandinavia for the summer. And so at this point, I've manifested maybe about 6,500 of the 8,000. So I'm almost there. And yeah, it definitely felt like a stretch to be able to kind of claim that vacation as something that I was going to let myself manifest, because it was a bigger stretch beyond, like, financially than any other vacation that I've taken. But it was really exciting to see the ways that money started to come in to let me go ahead and book that ticket. And I'm trusting that the rest of it is going to be manifesting too, so that I can fully have the dream vacation in Europe that I'm wanting to have this summer. Okay, so those are the 3 things that I think have really made the biggest difference in allowing me to go from really yearning to go on these dream vacations but feeling like I couldn't afford them, to actually manifesting the means to go on the vacations that I really want to go on. And so I hope you found that helpful. If you're also someone who really loves to travel, really wants to manifest dream vacations too. And I'd also love to know if you have any stories of manifesting dream vacations. I would definitely love to hear about those. If you do, leave them in the comments below. Sharing our stories of manifestation really helps us to remember and affirm our creative powers, like remember how we've used them in the past. That helps us to use them more effectively in the future, and it also inspires others. So definitely, if you have any stories like that, don't keep them to yourself, share them in the comments below. And if you would like more manifesting tips and tricks and inspiration from me, then I definitely recommend downloading my free guide to the 7 habits of highly magical people. I have a link to this in the description box below this video, so you can check it out if you're interested. And I also have links to learn more about my manifestation coaching, my psychic reading sessions, and my low-cost workshop called Spot On Intuition. It will teach you how to use pendulum dowsing to talk to your higher self about what you're manifesting. So definitely check out those resources in the description box below this video if you're interested. If you enjoyed this video, then I definitely recommend checking out this next video, which is all about the money affirmation that I've been using recently that's really been helping to make a big difference in my money mindset and ability to attract money into my life. And thank you again for joining me today. Until next time, happy manifesting.